Hello, everyone. Hopefully, we are out streaming to you all. Hopefully, you're getting audio and video coming through. Um, yeah, welcome to Dread Alert. Here we are on Thursday night again. We're back doing our Thursday thriller live stream. Today, we're talking about some news. We're talking about what we watched for the week, and we're also probably going to play some horror trivia if there's time.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, there's time.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Sarah, why don't you kick it off with some horror news,
Yeah.
and I'll make sure everything's looking good on our
Yeah,
end.
absolutely. So the first little piece of horror news is that Strange Darling is finally getting its digital release on October 1st. So if you have not seen Strange Darling yet, now is going to be the time that you can see it.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed that we didn't get to see it. There was
Yeah.
an early screener that was showing, and some Q&As that were happening, and we just couldn't make it out. Spooky Baby requires a lot of attention.
She
Don't let
does.
anybody fool you. Having a baby is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Having a channel is a lot of work. So we're working.
We're working.
We're working. But I'm
uh
excited to see it. I hear good things. There's been some rumblings on TikTok that a few folks didn't like it, but I
mm,
don't necessarily like those opinions that typically come out of that particular content creator. The
oh,
overwhelming, yeah, the overwhelming
okay.
response has been that it's great.
Yeah, I have heard nothing but good things about this film. I think that I was really hooked by the trailer that we saw a couple of times. And I just watched, and we'll come back to this, but I just watched Fall of the House of Usher, and Willa Fitzgerald is in that, and she was so good.
She wasn't bad in the Scream series either. I watched the
Mm-mm.
Scream series and I did not have a ton of issues with it. It wasn't my Scream.
I don't
Um,
I think it was supposed to be a Scream for a new generation. I
yeah.
don't think that we were the target audience for that
No,
show.
it felt a lot like the show Slasher,
Mhm.
but she was good. She carried the series well, and so I'm excited to see what she's done in the past 5 years. Oh my goodness, if it's not 5 years, I'm gonna feel so old. But in the
I could
past
tell you.
few years, I'm sure she's done a lot of growth. I had a lot of growth, done a lot of growing, and I'm excited to see what she's done.
2015,
So
2016.
9 years, 9 years. So yeah, there you go. I feel old,
Yeah,
but
me too.
no, it's probably a lot of growth in a decade. So
Yeah, she was very, very good in the Fall of the House of Usher. I'll talk a little bit about that later when we talk about what we have watched this week. So I'm really excited. I think it looks really interesting and definitely worth catching on.
yeah, we'll probably get it on VOD and maybe even get a review up for you all in
Ooh.
case you want to know what we thought of it.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things coming out. We're also going to cover some of the things that are going to be coming out later on in the stream.
Hmm.
We also have a new Wolfman photos
Yeah,
from
I
Lee
I
Winnell.
hope it's not from Halloween Horror Nights. Those photos were a little ridiculous, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were not. I don't know that that's a good representation of what we can expect from that film.
I,
Did you
yeah,
did you see those
I
photos from
did.
Halloween Horror
I
Nights?
did.
That poor performer.
I know.
I mean, like,
I
at least
know.
he's not been outed, but like, or they've not been outed. I don't know if it was a
Yeah.
man or a woman,
Who
but
knows?
at the end of the day, you don't want to be the person who's like, this new movie's coming out. Rawr. That was a lot. Rawr.
Rawr.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it felt like. That was the energy that Wolfman was giving.
Mhm.
Wolf
Mhm.
person. We don't know who
Wolf
was under the
person.
mask.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, this is from Lee Winnell. Jason Blum is producing this. I almost called him Jason Blumhouse.
Yeah, no, I do that frequently on purpose,
I
though.
know.
Lin-Manuel did The Invisible Man as well, and
Yes.
that film was surprisingly well received. It was an
Mhm.
interesting twist. It was a modern twist on The Invisible Man, and it was relevant and it was socially aware.
Right.
Um, Lin-Manuel is not his performance in Saw is not my favorite performance in that movie.
Right.
But as a director, I don't have any major issues with him outside of the fact that he was involved in The Conjuring. I think he directed The Conjuring 3, which
Mm.
you know how I feel about the Conjuring franchise. It is not my favorite. Although I will say, on a
Mhm.
positive note, The Conjuring did get a lot of people in the mainstream interested in horror
That is
and brought
true.
more people over into our sort of
sphere.
misfit subculture,
Come and join us.
counterculture. Yeah.
Yes.
The horror community is a wide tent. It's a large tent. Come and join us.
Yes. So this movie is coming out January 17th. So it is going to be right at the top of the new year, which should be fun. Starring Christopher Abbott and Julia Garner. And he's saying that it's going to be a companion piece to The Invisible Man.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what that necessarily means. Is it a part of a shared universe? Is it thematically or tonally a companion? But regardless, I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that the quote that I saw really didn't glean on if it's sharing a
Yeah,
universe
and
or
I think
not.
companion piece is just a broad thing to say.
It is, yeah. But I guess we'll see. We'll see. Um we also got a new trailer for a horror series that is coming out from James Wan.
They're back at it again on different projects, but together with news
Exactly.
releasing
That's
together.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like we just went from Leaving L to James Wan.
Yeah, yeah. This Teacup is what you're talking about,
Teacup.
and I saw the trailer.
Yeah,
I don't know that anything made me excited about the trailer.
I know.
There were some interesting visuals, but the whole thing felt underpaced and formulaic. And again, it has that vibe of a studio piece that isn't exciting to me. Now, do I think there needs to be more horror on television? Absolutely. And I think streaming platforms give us the ability to push the envelope in the way that films give us the ability to push the
Right.
envelope. So I'm always excited when a streamer has a horror show.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how excited I am for the Halloween TV series, provided they do it in a way that is organic to the source material, which they've given me no indication they're not. They've given me very little indication of anything at this point.
Right.
I'm dying for the Crystal Lake series.
I know.
But this one, and I feel like I heard that the first 2 episodes are based on a book. Is it The Stinger? Is that the book?
The Stinger, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't know why the first 2 episodes are based on one book, and then it's like an 8 to 10 episode. I have so many unanswered questions about it, and I don't know how much motivation I have to go find out the answers to those questions.
Right. Yeah. The trailer, the pacing really fell off.
It was like a 2-minute trailer, and the first minute was like, "Hi, we live in this town."
Right,
It's a small
exactly.
town that we live in, and I'm like, "Oh, all
With
right."
a song about a teacup
Yeah,
playing, and I was like, okay, this is. I understand what they're trying to do. You know,
To be
rural
fair,
Georgia.
I didn't hear the song about the teacup because I
Oh.
was listening to this in Target. I was
Sure.
watching the trailer in Target, trying to cram that one in before this live stream, so I
Right.
knew what you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. In Target.
In Target, well, to be fair, in the Starbucks in Target.
Correct. Yes.
As we were feeding Spooky Baby.
We were feeding Spooky Baby, and I was being caffeinated, and Vince was watching horror trailers.
You know, you gotta. We work hard to bring you the news.
That is true.
Even if we have to prep for it in the cafe of a Target.
Indeed, indeed. So yeah, I think that it'll be interesting. This is coming out on Peacock, if we haven't mentioned that. So
Yeah.
we'll give that a check out. Michael B. Jordan has a new movie coming
And Michael B.
out.
Jordan.
And Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan
Correct.
are in the Sinner.
The Sinner.
Looks fantastic.
Looks really good.
Yeah. Directed by the director of Black Panther,
Ryan Coogler,
Ryan
yes.
Coogler. And what else did he do? He did something else that was really interesting.
Creed.
Creed, yes. So these are some. I mean, the vibe of this trailer had big studio energy to me,
Yes.
but the concept and the execution looked pretty decent to me. I mean, like you could tell this has some money behind it.
Oh, absolutely.
But what I really like is that they gave you absolutely nothing in this trailer. Not a single thing. The only reason we know anything about it is that it was just, oh, and by the way, this is a vampire story.
Right. I don't know that I would have gotten that
Not
at all from the trailer.
There was a Tommy gun in the trailer. I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it did look really interesting. I love when they don't give us a ton of information, because that's what's going to be the thing that drives me to the theater to go and see this.
Yeah, I'm really loving our streak of coming in cold to movies. And I'm a spoilers guy. I like spoilers as much as the next person does. I do, though, think we've been coming in cold to a lot of films. Cuckoo and Long Legs. Long Legs really like anchored us into coming in cold this year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Late Night with the Devil, we came in pretty cold even though.
I didn't know anything about
Yeah.
that film.
So I knew there was AI and everybody was super mad about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But no, I'm really loving this streak we have of coming in cold to films and just taking it on the film's terms and not buying into or getting exposed to any hype. Although it's difficult now that we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're all over the place. And follow us on those channels. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do. It means the world to us. It really helps out our channel. Jump over in our About Us page. Check out our link tree. There are all the platforms that you can find us on. They're in there. You can check out our merch. You can check out our Discord. We have a ton of stuff for you to engage with us. If you want to send us an email and recommend some content that we should be watching, do that too. We love to hear from you. But all that is to say, it's really hard for us to stay spoiler free and hot take free at the moment. And I'm not above liking a video and then moving on without hearing the main points.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's a creator that we're friendly with. And
Yeah.
like that, you show some support and just keep rolling.
Yeah, I've been very lucky that I've been wanting to see a lot of things about The Substance, because that is a movie that looks very interesting to me, and we haven't had a chance to go and see it yet. So I am like itching, but I am trying my best to stay spoiler free.
I saw a screenshot and they're like, "Isn't this the most uncomfortable scene in the movie?" And I was like, "I don't know why. I have no context for this screenshot, and I'm sad that I've even seen it." We are trying to get out to see The Substance this week, maybe next.
It looks so
I know.
good.
I'd love to see it on a big screen. I
Me
don't think I've ever
too.
actually gone and seen a true body horror film on the big screen before.
Right? I think that would be such an interesting experience, because a lot of the body horror that we've watched has been body horror from,
Years back.
past.
I mean, we've seen
And
splatter on the big screen. We saw
yeah,
Demons on the big screen last year.
we certainly did.
And
That was an experience.
an Italian splatter is one of my favorite subgenres of horror. So we saw a Goblin play the score live. Actually, if you look back, I don't know if you can see behind Sarah, we have a signed drum head in the studio here from the band Goblin, Claudio Simonetti's Goblin.
Correct.
Before we booked tickets, I didn't realize there are multiple iterations of the band Goblin running around out there.
Lots of goblins.
Yeah, some touring, some not, but Claudio Simonetti's Goblin
Yes.
specifically. And Claudio did the score for Demons, which makes sense.
Went into that movie cold. That was interesting.
Yeah, that was a great film.
I was like, Vince, what did you just drag me to?
And I had seen things like Zombie.
Right.
I had seen, a fair amount of Italian splatter.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen Demons. And I was like, you know what? Now is not the time. Let's walk into this and just experience the live score and see this film.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I will say that seeing that movie in a room full of horror fans while Goblin was playing the score, that was a very unique experience.
If you ever get a chance to see Goblin live, they do the film, which probably about an hour and a half, and then they do a set of classic Goblin stuff. So they'll play stuff from Suspiria, they'll play stuff from Dawn of the Dead, they'll play a couple covers. They did the Halloween theme and Tubular Bells. So it's worth the price of admission. We were like 2 rows back. It was fantastic.
It was so cool, and I would love to see them do Dawn of the Dead.
I hear that they're touring Dawn of the Dead for the anniversary.
Are they?
But I could be wrong about that. I know they did Suspiria a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and then Demons, and I heard they were touring Dawn of the Dead, but they are not coming to our area as of yet. We actually should look up their tour dates, because honestly,
it was so good,
yeah,
and
we
I
could
love Dawn of the Dead.
heck, we can bring Spooky Baby. She'll sleep through it.
All right, moving on. The Front Room is coming out on VOD.
Yeah, no, this is something the hype machine has not missed me on. I hear
No.
mixed things about this film. And honestly, I was super excited for it. The religious imagery. I'm a child of I'm a middle-aged man of the 90s. I said child of the 90s to someone today, and they just looked at me, and I was like, yeah. I was like, well, I'm wearing a flannel. They're like, child of the 90s, huh? I'm a middle-aged man of the 90s, so Brandy was exciting to me.
I know. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, Brandy is a lot of what got me hyped for this film, too, because I love Brandy. I still love Brandy. Everything about it is so good, and I wanted to really love this movie, and I have heard mixed things, too, and it's already coming out on VOD, which...
It doesn't bode well for the box office. I didn't look up the box office
me
for this,
either.
but it does not seem like it did a ton of money at the box office. All that is to say, I'm going to give it a chance.
Yeah.
The premise is interesting. But without getting too personal, my mother-in-law is here 5 days a week, so I think I could probably relate to the premise.
Yeah.
And the religious imagery. You just pulled up the numbers, huh? Yeah. That's sad. I listen. We will find something to like about this movie, and we will
Oh
bring it
yeah.
back to you and tell you why it's exciting and who it's for. Um, I just had high hopes for it to be for everybody and have a lot to love.
Yeah, I definitely did too. It did not perform very well. I'm sure that was a not a great thing for A24, but you can get it on digital outlets, renting for 19.99 or purchasing it for 24.99.
A rare miss from A24, and I'm gonna go
Yeah.
on. I'm gonna get on my soapbox again. I'm gonna give a plug to A24's membership service. AAA24, 24 as I refer to it colloquially within this house.
Right.
Not only have they given us like a ton of free movie tickets as members, not even as press, but as members, and it's like $6 a month.
Mhm.
You get a zine that has, last month or last quarter, maybe it's quarterly, the zine comes out. Ty West did a Satanic Panic zine, which was so 70s, 80s Satanic Panic influence. It was so good. It was amazing. We got a free poster from Maxine in that bundle. Tickets to what do we saw Maxine. We got a free ticket to
Yeah.
Maxine. They offered us a free ticket to the Coleman Domingo piece.
Yeah.
They offered us a free ticket to go see one of our choice of a re-release, which Talk to Me was on that
Talk
list.
to
We
me.
didn't go see either of those two films. We did see
Mhm.
Maxine on their dime. But the reason I'm driving at this is they have a video library where you can, if you want to support A24, you can sign up for their membership service, but also you can rent directly from A24 and probably, and I'm assuming a lot here, remove some of the additional fees that they pay to Google, to the big players who
Mhm.
probably take 20 or 30% of that rental fee. So if you want to purchase from A24, you can purchase directly from AAA24, and you can purchase or rent directly from them as well. And the same rules apply, 48-hour window, things like that. Don't quote me on the rental terms. We rarely rent. We typically will just bite the bullet and have a library
Yeah.
for as much as you can own a license to a film.
It's just not worth it usually to rent it because if we end up liking it,
We're going to
I
want to watch it again.
exactly. So like and sometimes we can't watch something together, especially now.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's worth it for us just to purchase
Yeah.
and bite that bullet.
And not only do we want to cover as much content as possible, the timing of watching content together is difficult. So you'll
Yeah.
notice I don't think we watched a single movie together. We may have watched the same movie,
We did.
but we didn't watch anything together
We
this
didn't
week.
watch anything together this week. Um
She needs her space from me. We are in this studio way too much together.
so Heart Eyes got a release date.
Very excited for this film.
Me
For as
too.
much as we know about it, Mason Gooding is a fan favorite in this household. For that's for sure. I mean, I know that a lot of folks liked his performance in the two Scream films that he was in. I
Yeah.
know some people were really bummed that he took that much damage and Dewey'd his way out of that.
Yeah, he really did Dewey his way out of
Yeah,
that, but I was happy about that
I was
because
too.
I really liked Chad as a character.
Yeah, my lukewarm take, and probably not a hot take, is that they should have killed Mindy.
I would agree with that. I think that if you were going to go that route, Mindy would have been the obvious choice there,
Yeah.
but that's a spoiler for Scream 6 if you haven't seen it
Oh,
already.
it's been 2 years. You're fine.
So this is going to be a horror rom-com. I feel like we're
We're getting
getting
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
them.
horror rom-coms. I'm kind of excited about it. Like a new subgenre to really like sink our teeth into.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea, but I certainly won't turn my nose up at it. I'm very excited for the Melissa Barrera, Your
Your
Monster.
monster.
Yeah, I was raving about that last week on the live.
I know. So this one, we are getting it on February 7th, so right in time for Valentine's Day. Nice little spooky horror rom-com.
Yeah.
And one of my favorites is also in this film,
Who's this?
Devon
Oh,
Sawa.
that's right. Yes.
So I will definitely be there.
You know, I always love. So we look forward to spooky season all year. We have permanent Halloween decorations strategically around the house, from a live, laugh, look behind you sign to the nerd nook here in the studio, which doubles as an office, and a neon pumpkin that's on the wall over there. There's just Halloween stuff throughout, and Spooky Baby is obsessed with animatronics. I would not be surprised if we have a couple animatronics make their way into our living room in the near future. All that is to say, I love the January release schedule for some of these. The midwinter boost. There's a local horror convention that happens in March that I get so excited for because it's we've had enough time to decompress from the holidays, which are stressful for everybody in various ways. But we get that like bump. It's spooky season again for 3 days, you know? So all these horror releases in January and February really I love them. And our spooky season schedule is so busy. We've taxed our childcare so hard, our network of childcare. We've taxed it so hard so we can do all the spooky and harvesty and autumnal things that we love to do. It's honestly a little difficult for us to hit all the releases in the autumn.
There's so much coming out right now, and it's so hard for us to get to everything. We can't I don't think we could do it even if we didn't have Spooky
It
Baby.
would be challenging, but we were able to go and see a lot in the winter last year and in the summer last year. Summer horror releases. I'm getting jazzed up. My head's already in the game. I already have my Moonlit Graveyard hand sanitizer out,
Right.
which is like the scent of the pre-autumn for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I like the winter releases, and Heart Eyes is one that I'm very excited for. And Your Monster, we'll do it again this week too. We'll just hit it again this week. Your Monster looks fantastic, and the growth out of Melissa Barrera is astounding in the trailer alone.
I know. I'm so looking forward to that, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but it is coming out late October.
Very excited for it.
Next up on our docket is Shaun of the Dead is celebrating its 20th anniversary.
You're hurting my soul
Oh,
with that
I know.
number. Yeah, no, we're excited about that. It's getting a 4K Ultra release. We're excited about Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead, really another film that helped horror transition into the mainstream and become not so much counterculture, but just pop culture. And like I always say, horror is a big tent. Welcome in, come and join us. So Shaun of the Dead has a special place in my heart because of that. And it was in the middle of the first wave of the zombie craze. Well, probably not the first wave. Romero would have been
No.
the first wave.
Yeah.
The second wave zombie craze, pre-Walking Dead,
Yep.
post night, day, dawn. Yeah.
All of the
All
other
of the
deads.
deads.
Yes,
Yeah.
and all of the deads. There is going to be a 4K Ultra release. They're getting both Steelbook and standard packaging for this.
Why am I such a sucker for steelbooks?
I know you
Like
are.
it doesn't add anything to the viewing experience. We're still seeing it in 4K, all the special features. But boy, if you tell me that box is made of metal, I get super excited for some reason.
He's just really jazzed about it.
It bothers me that the really great 4K Halloween series releases are not steelbook. They're just slipcase, and like if you have an eagle eye, you'll notice back on that bookshelf is the vinyl single, the 45 of the Halloween theme song that came out with the Halloween 1 4K release, but the Halloween 78 4K release. But honestly, why couldn't it have been a steelbook?
I don't know.
Ugh. And why haven't they released a Scream 4 steelbook? Come on, get your licensing together, folks. We got to get that together.
He's very upset about Scream 4 in particular.
We have 1, 2, 3.
I know.
5 and 6 in steelbook, and it's just a vacant gap on our DVD shelf. Like I can hear the wind whistling through that gap.
And I think the funniest thing about that is that Scream 4 isn't even one of your favorite Scream movies.
It's probably my second to last favorite movie, but I'm just a completionist like that. No, honestly, I love steelbook releases. I love Shaun of the Dead. This is great news for anybody who is invested in the horror genre as a whole.
Absolutely. Next, we had another trailer drop for a movie called The Curse of the Necklace.
I wouldn't say that's the most creative title I've ever heard, but and I don't even know that the story is as creative as it could be. The trailer gives a lot away.
Yeah.
It looks like a B film.
It does, yeah.
And I think it is right up our alley in terms of how weird and campy and offbeat this film seems.
Yeah, it seems super weird. It is apparently coming out in theaters tomorrow.
Yeah, hey, just sneak it in there and then releasing on VOD on October 1st.
Yes.
Just out of nowhere.
They're just like,
It's here.
Here it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, I didn't even know about this film. And now we've got a trailer. It's coming out literally tomorrow and then VOD next week.
It either tells me they didn't have a marketing budget.
Yeah.
Or whoever produced it is like, let's just get whatever we can out of our investment and roll.
Yeah, it seems like it's just like a limited release. They're like, let's put it out in the theaters and then just very in a very limited capacity, make a little bit of money maybe, and we'll deal with VOD later.
That said, we are trying to see every horror film released this year,
Yes.
either between us or together.
Yeah.
Um,
We're trying. We're gonna
so
try
we'll
and
see
make
it.
it happen. Yeah, we
We'll see
will.
it.
Yeah.
She watched Tarot, so
I did.
there we will see it.
Well, Henry Thomas is also in this film, so
Oh, he is.
you didn't see him in the trailer?
I didn't notice him.
Yeah.
I never recognized Henry Thomas. We saw him at a con, and I was like, oh, hey, isn't that the dude from Hill House? Like, I never recognized him. In my head, he is still Elliot.
He is not Elliot.
No, he's a middle-aged man as well. He's in the club.
He is. He is.
No longer a child of the 80s.
Right. But yeah, Henry Thomas is in this, and I mean,
watch
that'll
it for
get
Henry
me
Thomas alone.
exactly.
Yeah.
That'll get me to watch.
He was so good in Midnight Mass. Yeah.
I know. We have a horror RPG
Okay.
that had a Kickstarter.
Yeah, seems like a rules light, art heavy RPG. So if you like tabletop gaming, this may be for you, especially if you don't feel like reading a lot of rules.
Yes. But you do need to act quickly on this.
7 days to go.
Yes. So it actually no, it's tomorrow.
Oh, it's
it
tomorrow.
ends tomorrow.
Did I misread that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah. So it is called Chainsaw, and it is fully funded. So you don't
4
have to
times
worry
over.
about that. Exactly. It ends tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Oh wow, I thought it ended next week, but
Yeah.
that's
So if you are looking to get in on this, it does look really interesting. And you can go ahead. They have a couple of rewards that you can check out.
If you're watching this on replay, we should say it ends Friday the 27th
sorry.
at 2 p.m. So if you're watching this on Monday or Tuesday, the 30th or the 1st, you're out of luck, and maybe you can get it on backer kit if they're doing that or something along those lines, or you'll have to wait for distribution.
Yeah.
But if you're watching this before Friday the 27th at 2 p.m., go ahead and check out Chainsaw Horror. It's an RPG that is Chainsaw, the horror RPG.
Yes.
Which is rules light and art heavy. I think it looks interesting, and I'm not a tabletop guy. Like I have a respect for it in the sense that like it's always something I wish I could have gotten into.
Right.
But like it never really jazzed me up. I played Call of Cthulhu. That's probably the thing that jazzed me up the most. But I played Buffy, the RPG,
Oh, I know.
and I played Angel, the RPG. Don't ask me about college. It was a wild time. We were super crazy in college. But this seems interesting to me.
Yeah, it definitely. I'm more of the RPG person, and so when I came across this, I was like, "Oh, this is very interesting."
I got served an ad for it on Facebook, I believe.
Did you?
I believe I did.
Oh.
I could be wrong, but it could have been a completely different rules light, art heavy RPG.
I've also been getting served it on Facebook, so I think that they did take out some ads. They're probably targeting very specific people, and we are those people.
Yeah. Do you not scroll away when Matthew Lillard's talking about his D&D stuff? No, I don't watch anything Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's why you're getting served it, buddy.
Retargeting on Matthew Lillard, probably.
And then, of course, what would this live stream be?
Our weekly Terrifier 3 segment.
Without a Terrifier 3 update. So...
I should do a lower third just for Terrifier 3.
I know.
We should the weekly Terrifier 3 update.
The weekly Terrifier update.
So excited.
I know. So it got very good reviews at Fantastic Fest last week. While we were on live stream, that's when folks were seeing it at Fantastic Fest.
We signed off and all the rumblings started happening, and Damien Leone said invest in some barf bags.
He did.
He also said there's a possibility of, it's almost a certainty that there will be a Terrifier 4 and Art the Clown will be in that. Which, is that a spoiler?
I don't think so.
I mean, at this point, we know slashers are going to come back. Art's pretty much died in every Terrifier.
Right.
And keeps finding weird, disgusting ways to come back.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that he'll find a way again this time. And what would a Terrifier film be without Art the Clown at this point?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw someone on TikTok talking about whether or not Art is a horror icon. And leave your comments below. Is Art a horror icon at this point? This was literally the first topic we talked about on this live stream, on our first live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Is Art a horror icon? My answer to that was, we have The Ninth Circle and Terrifier, which combined into All Hallows Eve.
Right.
Then we had Terrifier.
Hmm.
And at that point, I think, at least in the underground, art was a horror icon.
Right.
I think Terrifier 2 solidified it pop culture wise. I don't think we even need Terrifier 3 as a portion of our sample size. I think art is a horror icon already, and Terrifier 3 is just icing on the cake.
Yeah, I do think that at this point, he's probably a horror icon.
I
He
mean,
has an animatronic at Spirit.
yeah, here's my Art the Clown Spirit Halloween tumbler. Also, pro tip, public service announcement. We did this on our other live stream on the other platform where we go live.
Yes.
Check out the link on our About Us page. You can find these at Spencer's. You don't have to fight each other and come to fisticuffs at Spirit Halloween to get an Art the Clown Art Crispies tumbler. Spencer's owns Spirit Halloween, which I did not know
Yeah.
until this year. And so you can find a lot of great Terrifier merch, from the milk carton 16 ouncer to the tumblers, the 24 ounce tumblers, to the 40 ounce tumblers. They have an Art the Clown Christmas sweater, which I don't know how you would wash. It has a full on wreath on it. They have Art the Clown hockey jerseys, baseball jerseys. They have Art the Clown sweatshirts, and a ton of really great Art the Clown shirts. There's a Terrifier one. We have to kind of say that now, right? We can't
I
just
guess,
say Terrifier.
yeah.
We have a Terrifier shirt with art, and I'm drawing blank of not Victoria, the her sister,
Yeah.
and the syringe, and it's a brutal, like, comic book illustrated shirt that I think is going to be mine at some point in the near future. I think I'm going to make that purchase.
You're going to
I
do it.
I need another Terrifier shirt, like I need another hole in the head.
Uh-huh.
But I think I'm going to get it. I think I
Yeah.
am. That's going to be a thing.
It's a good one.
It's a great one.
If you're gonna do it, Terrifier can be really difficult to get merch for because
Because art's a horror icon.
yes, because we definitely don't hold back on the gore in the Terrifier franchise, so it can be really difficult to find a good art shirt.
Especially with Spooky Baby, something I can
Right.
wear around the baby. That's why I have the Spirit Halloween Art the Clown shirt,
Mm-hmm.
because she has been to Spirit Halloween more than most adults I know this year.
Oh yeah, yeah. Should we tell them our embarrassing? Well, I don't know if it's embarrassing about Spirit Halloween.
So Nick Lusko did 3 theme songs for Spirit Halloween, which, if you haven't heard them, go look them up on YouTube after this live stream. They are super catchy, especially the second one. And if you're lucky and you're in a Spirit Halloween at the right time, they will play the theme for Spirit Halloween Part 2 over the radio. And so we were in Spirit Halloween, and of course we're singing along because we love this song. And the employees literally had to come to the back of the store and they're like, "Who is singing this song? I had to see you because I needed to know who were these giant Spirit Halloween fans." And we were like, "Oh yeah, sorry, that's us. We love the Spirit Halloween theme song."
Yes. It is, it
Ooh, we had a good comment here. Captain Spaulding as a clown is a better clown. And you know what? Honestly, while I don't vibe with the Rob Zombie films, House of a Thousand Corpses,
Right.
Devil's Rejects, 3 from Hell, as much as I vibe with the Terrifier films, and that's just personal preference. I think they're fine films. I really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
I do like Captain Spaulding a lot, and I think Captain Spaulding is a legend. I went over to a friend's house the other day. Hadn't been to his house before. He's a new friend, and on his mantle was a Captain Spaulding, like, 7-day votive candle. Apparently
So
his wife
cool.
is, and I went down to their basement, and it's like his music room, and they had a Captain Spaulding art print on the wall. And I was like,
Oh,
dude, I'm wearing my
wow.
Chucky socks right now. We're gonna be best friends. I was really excited, and it surprised me because you never know who's gonna be a horror fan, and Captain
Mhm.
Spaulding was their way in, and I have nothing but respect for that. I think Captain Spaulding is a legend for sure.
I definitely think that Captain Spaulding is a bit of a legend, and I would say that it. I don't know. I don't like to compare folks because I feel like you start comparing people, even like clowns. Like Pennywise is not the same as like Captain Spaulding or even Art the Clown, in my
Pennywise
opinion.
is absolutely a legend. I was talking to someone on TikTok about whether Joe Hill, Stephen King's son, is a better writer than Stephen King, and their opinion was yes, Joe Hill is a better writer. But how do you overlook someone like Pennywise? You know, Pennywise is just it's in the fabric of horror. You can't separate Pennywise from horror.
Exactly. I mean, Pennywise is the reason that I was afraid of clowns for so long.
Right.
Because I had seen the It miniseries way too young. like way too young. I had seen it, and Tim Curry scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And then whenever we went to go and see it, Chapter 1, in the theaters, and Pennywise, I actually screamed out loud in the theater. And I don't do that. That is not something that I do.
I saw some debates happening on TikTok as to whether the new It or
Yeah.
the old It is the superior It. And I'm really torn on this. I don't because
Yeah.
I think the production values on It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 are out of this world good.
Right.
And neither one nails the ending that the book had. Although the book had some weirdness to the ending, and I'm not going to get into that here because we'll probably get kicked off YouTube if I describe what happens in the end of the book.
Yeah.
But read it if you want to know. It's worth checking out. It was a fun 1,100 pages.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's really hard for me. The nostalgia factor is so strong with it from the 90s. And Tim Curry, like...
Tim Curry, John Ritter.
John Ritter, yeah. No, just legendary stuff. It was really nice to see Tim Curry pop up in the movie Stream. If you haven't had a chance to see that yet, when it hits video on demand, hopefully next month at some point. They've not announced a date yet. Give them your money.
Yes.
Give them your time. They deserve it. Fuzz on the Lens, the producers of Terrifier 2 and 3, absolutely deserve your attention.
And we'll let you know whenever that is dropping. Once we have an official date, we'll let you know.
We've not seen Clown from 2014, although I hear it's a great movie. Correct me if I'm wrong, the clown makeup starts to infect him. He can't really separate himself from the clown.
Yeah,
itself.
See, 2014, I was still like
you were pretty.
I was not vibing with clowns.
No. We had a clown embargo in the house. My clown. I was not allowed to watch clown movies all that much.
I didn't watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space until like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, you slept on that for way too long.
Yeah, because I was legitimately terrified of clowns for a very long time.
Now there are Killer Clowns, Funko Pops. There's Killer Clown artwork there in our family room. We have Killer Clowns all over the place now.
But we'll have to check that one out for sure.
Yeah, awesome. If that's the plot, that sounds awesome. And clowns are just creepy. Even if you're not afraid of clowns, they can be creepy.
They definitely can. Speaking of,
we actually have to get to the news.
We're still on the Terrifier
segment.
And speaking of terrifying,
yeah, these are some creepy clowns. They've announced. Was it Cinemark?
Yeah.
Cinemark has been doing these.
Regal.
And Regal have been doing beverage buddies, which are these cups that are going along with Terrifier 3, which just released or just announced. Child's Play and It.
Yeah.
So Bill Skarsgård, who I lovingly call Bill Skarsgård because he is so good in all of. See, I told you I'd work Bill Skarsgård into this live stream tonight.
I was trying with Pennywise.
Right? You were perfect. They've released these images of these beverage buddies, which look honestly like a Funko Pop has been run over.
Yeah.
Or like maybe like a Minecraft character from like a horror show.
They're horrifying.
Yeah, they're weird looking. Oh, look, they are for somebody out there. I'm not trying to judge you if you like them. Get them. If you need all that art merch, if you need all the art merch you can handle, get it. I support you. I hope you do get it. For me, they look weird, man.
They're weird.
Yeah.
They're super weird. But they are available for pre-order. $23.99 plus tax and shipping. They are going to be available until October 22nd, which is also when the pre-orders for the popcorn buckets.
They're closing on October 22nd.
Correct.
So I can still mull this over and decide whether I want to start a popcorn bucket collection.
Yeah, you still have time, buddy.
It's tough for me. I don't have, the studio is small. It's not a giant room, and popcorn buckets take up a lot of space. But I really, really want that Art the Clown popcorn bucket.
Yeah. And these beverage buddies will not ship until February, March, just like the popcorn buckets. So you will not have them in time for the film.
I saw some people who are really upset about that. And for my money, that's a perfect time for them to release Terrifier on VOD.
Right.
Or physical media. So if we do get it, we'll have it here for our first watch at home.
That's exactly it. The last little piece of news.
I'm so excited. Our weekly Kate Siegel, Mike Flanagan section of our live stream.
Oh, I've got more later. Don't worry. So we got the first images for Dark Corners, which Kate Siegel and Chris Fox. Chris Fox is from Little Bites.
Oh yeah, Little Bites.
And she's also going to be in Terrifier 3.
So excited for Little Bites.
They have teamed up with Stephen King, Heather Langenkamp, Paul Tremblay, Alana Pierce, and Molly Elfman
Can I just bracket Paul Tremblay is one of the greatest living horror novelists and still teaching high school, I believe, or
Mhm.
middle school if I'm not mistaken. Paul Tremblay's amazing. His horror movie just came out a month or two ago and was an excellent
The
blending.
book
The book,
called Horror
the
Movie.
correct, the book horror movie. It's an excellent blending of a traditional prose narrative with a screenplay. It is scary. It is worth your time. I honestly need to review that. And his last Cabin at the End of the World is the basis for Knock at the Cabin.
Mhm.
He is prolific and he's spitting out new novels left and right. Paul Tremblay is amazing. Him and Stephen Graham Jones, I think, are the two greatest living horror authors. Although I've been reading some people lately that I'll talk about a little later on
Yeah.
who are making me like expand that list of my two favorite horror authors. But those two, check out Paul Tremblay. When I heard he was involved in this, I was really excited. And the fact that we have an educator who's
Right.
also a horror novelist, working on a show
Yeah, so this is gonna be a show for kids.
that's designed for kids. It's a way in for kids, much like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, traumatized, excuse me, brought me into horror when I was a child. That's the design here, is to be
Yeah.
a modern form or a modern YouTube version of something like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. This is actually going to drop on YouTube. So that is really exciting. There is no barrier to entry here. You can have access to this. Go and follow them. Dark Corners Film is where they are located. They have obviously a YouTube channel and they also have an Instagram page. So go and give them a follow. We don't have a release date yet, but I have rung the bell
Yeah.
for notifications because I am very interested in
Which is
that.
a good reminder for anyone out there to subscribe, ring the bell, get some notifications about us as well.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, that's all for the news this week. Um, and
Hang tight. It
oh,
seems like we might have lost
oh
video
no.
right now, and I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Okay,
Just give us a moment to get ourselves back together.
get our bearings about us.
I hate to do this. I think we might be having some technical difficulties here. Unfortunately, we
Uh-oh.
might have to wrap this live stream up a little bit early. That's kind of a bummer because we only made it through the news, but maybe we'll
Yeah.
jump back on a little bit later and talk about what we watched.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, everyone. Been awesome hanging